The city of Alderidge never slept, which was unfortunate for Lila Bennett, who was running on 4 hours of it and had just spilled caramel latte down her white blouse. "Of course," she muttered, staring at the stain. "Perfect Monday energy." A deep voice answered, "That's what happens when you stop in the middle of a sidewalk." She froze. "No way." Slowly, she looked up, and there he was, Noah Hale, her mortal enemy from high school, her undefeated rival in everything from debate to science fair, the human embodiment of her competitive trauma. He looked infuriatingly good. Tall, broad-shouldered, dark hair slightly messy like he'd just run a hand through it, and that same smug half-smile that used to make her want to win every argument just to wipe it off his face. "Noah," she said flatly. "The city's not big enough, apparently." He grinned. "Good to see you too, Bennett." 10 minutes later, they sat opposite each other in a cozy corner cafe. She was still in shock. He was clearly enjoying it. "So," he said, stirring his drink, "you design ads for a living now?" "I prefer creative branding strategist. Thanks," she replied, raising a brow. "And you?" "Finally found someone new to annoy." He laughed. "Software developer. Annoying people for money." She smirked despite herself. "At least you're self-aware." They bantered easily, falling back into an old rhythm neither had expected. The tension that used to be all sharp edges now felt sparky. Familiar. Almost fun. When he caught her glancing at him over her cup, he tilted his head. "What?" "Nothing," she said quickly, then added, "You look different." "Older." "Handsomer," he teased. "More tolerable," she shot back. He put a hand over his heart. High praise from Lila Bennett. They laughed, and for the first time in years, the sound felt good. The breakup. 3 weeks later, Lila's world imploded. Her boyfriend of 3 years, the one she'd planned to introduce to her grandfather that night, was kissing someone else in the lobby of his office. She'd gone there early with a bottle of wine and a nervous smile. Now she stood frozen as the bottle slipped from her hand and shattered. He turned. "Lila, wait. Don't." Her voice shook but didn't break. "I just needed confirmation." "Thanks." She left before he could answer. That night, in her small apartment, she stared at her phone through tears. A dozen missed calls from Grandpa George. He'd been waiting to meet her boyfriend. He'd been waiting to hear that she was settled before finalizing her inheritance, the Bennett family home that meant everything to her. The old rule in his will, married by 30 or no estate. She was 29. "Great," she muttered. "Now I need a husband more than I need therapy." 2 days later, she bumped into Noah again, literally, outside a bookstore. "Whoa, you okay?" he asked, steadying her with his hands on her shoulders. His tone softened when he saw her face. "Hey, what happened?" She tried to smile. "Long week." Translation, something bad. "Coffee." She hesitated, then nodded. At the cafe, he waited until she started talking. She told him everything. The cheating, the grandfather, the inheritance clause, trying to laugh through it. He listened, jaw tight, eyes full of quiet concern. When she finished, she said, "Anyway, I'm fine. I'll just figure something out." He leaned forward. "Figure what out?" She waved her hand. "You know, I might hire someone to pretend to be my boyfriend for Grandpa's birthday dinner next week. Just for one evening." His brows shot up. "You're serious?" "I'm desperate." Noah exhaled. "That sounds crazy," she finished for him. "I know, but Grandpa's heart isn't great. I don't want to stress him." There was a pause. Then he said softly, "You don't deserve any of this, Lila." She looked up. His voice carried something different. Warmth, protectiveness, maybe even affection. She brushed it off with a nervous laugh. "It's fine. What could go wrong?" "Everything, apparently." Lila posted a discreet ad on a gig site. Polite male companion needed for family dinner. Discretion required. By noon, she had 3 messages. By evening, she regretted all of them. The last candidate, a smug man in an expensive suit, met her at a hotel lounge. Within minutes, he'd leaned too close, ignored her boundaries, and touched her arm even after she'd stepped back. "Don't," she started, but he just smiled. Then a familiar voice cut in. She said don't. "Noah." He stood in the doorway, eyes dark, jaw set. "Step away from her." The man scoffed. "Who are you?" "Her husband," Noah said coolly. Lila blinked. "Excuse me." But the man was already backing off, muttering something before disappearing. Noah turned to her, concern replacing anger. "Are you okay?" She nodded, shaky but unharmed. "Why, how did you?" "I saw the post," he admitted. "I got worried." "You what?" "You said you needed someone to pretend for one night. I didn't like the idea of you meeting random guys alone." Her heart did something stupid. "You followed me." He looked sheepish. "Protectively followed. There's a difference." She wanted to be mad, but the way he looked, earnest, protective, a little bashful, made it impossible. "Thank you," she said quietly. He smiled faintly. "Anytime." A silence settled before he broke it. "So," he said, hands in his pockets, "you still need someone to play the boyfriend?" She sighed. "Yeah. Though after that disaster, I'm not sure I can go through with it." He tilted his head. "Too bad you don't know a charming, reliable, incredibly handsome guy who already cares about you." She blinked. "Noah." "What?" he asked innocently. "You're suggesting yourself." "Me?" "Never. I'm just saying, hypothetically, if someone like me existed." She laughed, shaking her head. "You're impossible." "Persistent," he corrected. "Come on, Lila. We'd be great at pretending. We've been fake arguing since we were 15. She stared at him, unsure if he was joking. "You'd really do that? Pretend to be my boyfriend?" He shrugged. "Why not? I already spilled coffee on you. Might as well complete the humiliation arc." She laughed again, a real one this time. "You're ridiculous." "But you're smiling," he said softly. And she was. 1 week later. "Okay, remember," she whispered as they stood outside her grandfather's mansion. "You're a software developer. We've been dating 6 months, and you love dogs." He grinned. "Easy. I do love dogs, especially when they bark less than you." She elbowed him. "Behave." He chuckled. "Yes, dear." Her heart jumped at that dear. He must have noticed because his grin widened. Inside, Grandpa George eyed Ethan suspiciously. "So you're the man stealing my granddaughter's time." Noah smiled warmly. "Trying to earn it, sir." "Good answer," George said, clearly impressed. Lila exhaled in relief. Noah was charming, funny, perfectly fake. Almost too perfect. After dinner, George patted Lila's hand. "You finally picked someone who looks at you right." She glanced at Noah, who, indeed, was looking at her like she hung the moon. Her chest tightened. This was supposed to be pretend. So why did it feel so real? When they left, she sighed. "You were amazing." He grinned. "You doubted me?" "Constantly," she admitted. He stopped, turning to face her under the porch light. "You know," he said softly, "for a fake relationship, that felt kind of real." Her breath caught. "Don't start, Hale." He smiled, stepping closer just enough for her heart to race. "What? Can't handle fake feelings." She shoved him lightly, laughing. "Good night, Noah." "Sweet dreams, Mrs. Fake Hale," he teased. She rolled her eyes, but as she walked away, she caught herself smiling. For the first time in a long while, her heart felt light. The next morning, Lila was halfway through her second cup of coffee when her phone buzzed. "Noah, morning, fake wife. Grandpa called me son. Should I start sending Father's Day cards?" She groaned. smiling despite herself. Lila, don't get too comfortable, Hale. It's a 6-month arrangement, not a lifetime sentence. Noah, so you're saying there's hope? She shook her head, typing back with a grin she refused to acknowledge. The deal. Later that day, Noah showed up at her apartment, holding a bag of croissants. I brought peace offerings, he said, waving them. You looked ready to kill me last night when I called you Mrs. Hale. You called me that in front of the valet, she said. He winked at me. Noah bit back a laugh. That's because you looked adorable when you glared. She crossed her arms. We need ground rules. He nodded seriously, setting the croissants on the counter. Rule 1. You make the coffee. Yours tastes better. Rule 1. No flirting, she countered. He raised a brow. Then how will anyone believe we're married? You can flirt in public, she said. Not in my kitchen. Your kitchen, he said, pretending to be offended. Correction, our kitchen. Lila pointed a spoon at him. Don't start. He grinned. You're cute when you threaten me with utensils. She sighed. This is going to be a long 6 months. They had a small courtroom wedding. To sell the marriage, Noah moved into her apartment. He showed up with 2 suitcases, a gaming console, and a plant named Jeffrey. Lila stared. You brought a plant. He's low maintenance, Noah said. Unlike some people I know. Funny, she said. Jeffrey might sleep on the couch with you. Then I'll make him breakfast too, he shot back, grinning. It was impossible to stay annoyed. Noah filled the apartment with warmth, jokes, and the smell of burnt toast. He teased her constantly, but he also fixed the leaky faucet, bought her favorite cereal, and left sticky notes that said things like, "Don't forget to smile today. Your fake husband said so." She'd roll her eyes every time. But secretly, she saved the notes. When they visited Grandpa George again, he was all smiles. You two look happy. Lila nearly choked. We are. Very domestic. Noah slid an arm around her waist, playing along. She burns my toast. I pretend to like it. True love. George laughed, delighted. That's marriage for you. Later, as they walked back to the car, Lila swatted Noah's arm. You didn't have to mention my toast. He grinned. You said pretend marriage. I'm committing to the role. You're overcommitting. I can't help it, he said, giving her a look that made her stomach flutter. You're an easy person to commit to. Her heart skipped, but she forced a laugh. Save the lines for Grandpa. He only smiled. Wasn't a line. Noah started picking her up from work. The first time, her coworker Tom waved and said, Lila, your husband's here. Noah leaned against the car, sunglasses on, grin cocky. Tom whispered, Wow. He's hot. Lila flushed. He's very Noah. When she got in the car, Noah asked, Who's Tom? Coworker. He hummed. He said I was hot. Lila rolled her eyes. Don't let it get to your head. Too late. Also, he looked at you too long. She turned to him. Are you jealous? He shrugged, smirk tugging his lips. Maybe. Even fake husbands get territorial. She laughed. You're unbelievable. Unbelievably smitten, he corrected under his breath. She pretended not to hear, but her smile gave her away. One rainy night, the power went out. Lila groaned. Perfect. Romantic candlelight for my fake marriage. Noah lit a candle anyway, the flame flickering across his face. Might as well make the most of it. They sat on the couch, sharing chips, the quiet stretching comfortably between them. After a while, he said softly, You know, this doesn't feel fake anymore. Her breath caught. Don't start, Hale. He smiled faintly. You always say that when you feel the same. I do not. You do, he said, leaning in slightly voice low. You did in high school, too. She blinked. What are you? I used to irritate you just to get your attention, he admitted, eyes on her. You'd glare at me, and I thought, at least she's looking at me. The confession hit her like a soft punch to the chest. He chuckled, embarrassed. I was hopeless. She whispered, still are. He grinned. Yeah, but now I get to sit next to you on a couch instead of across a debate table. They looked at each other for a long moment before she murmured, You're supposed to be fake, remember? He smiled. Then I'm the worst fake husband in history. 6 months later, they'd grown into something that didn't feel fake at all. They bickered like real spouses, laughed like best friends, and kissed. Well, once. It had been after a long day, during an argument that ended with them too close, too breathless. She'd kissed him to shut him up. He'd kissed her back like he'd been waiting years for it. And afterward, they both pretended it hadn't happened. Until now. The truth. One evening, Lila stood in the kitchen, twisting her hands. Noah, I need to tell Grandpa the truth. He froze mid-bite of pizza. The truth. That we're not really married. She swallowed hard. I can't keep lying. He deserves honesty. He set the slice down slowly. And then what? We'll get a divorce. He went quiet. Then he laughed, a little too sharply. You make it sound like we're actually married. She tried to smile. It's just time to end it. He looked at her for a long moment, eyes dark. And what exactly? The lie or us? There is no us, Noah. He stood, moving closer. Funny, because it sure feels like there is. Her voice trembled. Don't. He ran a hand through his hair, frustrated. You really don't get it, do you? I've been in love with you since we were kids. Every stupid argument, every eye roll, I did all that just to get your attention. Her breath caught. I thought pretending would be enough, he said softly. That I could be near you, make you laugh, and maybe that'd be enough. But it's not. Tears stung her eyes. Noah, I don't care about the inheritance, or the deal, or your grandfather, he said, voice breaking slightly. I just want you, even if it means staying in this fake marriage forever. She shook her head, half laughing, half crying. You're such an idiot. After Noah's confession, the apartment felt too quiet. Lila couldn't look at the couch without remembering how he'd said, I've been in love with you since we were kids. He'd left the next morning to clear his head, taking Jeffrey the plant with him. 3 days turned into 5. She told herself she was fine. She wasn't. Every morning she reached for her coffee mug and found another one of his sticky notes hidden somewhere. Don't forget to smile today, fake wife. She'd laugh and cry at the same time. Across town, Noah sat in his friend's guest room, staring at his phone. He typed and deleted a dozen messages. Hey, I left my charger. Delete. I miss you. Delete. Do you think Jeffrey's okay? Send. Grandpa George's help. On the 6th day, Grandpa George called. Lila, dear, he said, voice heavy with false concern. Noah came by to say goodbye. Her heart stopped. Goodbye. Flying out tonight, he said. Something about a job in London. What? She stood up so fast her chair fell. He's moving. Well, George said casually, I suppose people leave when they're not wanted. Grandpa, I'm just saying, he added far too cheerfully, if you did want him, now might be the time to say something. She didn't even hang up properly, just grabbed her bag and keys and sprinted out. The airport. Lila reached the Alderidge airport 20 minutes before the flight. Her hair was a mess, her blouse half-tucked, and she was gasping for air when she spotted him at the check-in line. Noah Hale, she yelled. He turned, startled, suitcase in hand. Lila! She ran straight up to him, eyes blazing. You can't just leave. He blinked. Leave? I'm going to Evan's wedding in Chicago. Her mouth fell open. What? Yeah, he said, confused. Best man duties. Why are you? Wait, did you run here? Grandpa said you London. She stopped, realization dawning. He tricked me. Noah grinned slowly. He tricked you into confessing. I didn't confess anything, she said quickly, cheeks flushing. Oh no. He stepped closer, teasing. You chased me through an airport, yelling my full name. That's pretty romantic. I panicked. About losing me, he asked softly. She huffed, looking away. You're impossible. And you're adorable when you're out of breath, he murmured, brushing a strand of hair from her face. But you didn't answer. Answer what? Do you want me to stay? Her eyes softened. You're the most frustrating, stubborn man I've ever met. He smiled. And yet, she said quietly, I don't want you going anywhere that doesn't have me in it. His grin widened. Finally. Then he kissed her, right there, between two confused passengers and a blinking departure board. Someone clapped. Someone else whistled. She pulled away, laughing. You're ridiculous. He shrugged. Guess you're stuck with me. 6 months later, the wedding. Grandpa George beamed. Third time's the charm, he said, watching Lila adjust her veil. Second, she corrected. He winked. The first one was fake. Down by the arch, Noah stood in a navy suit, hair slightly messy, holding Jeffrey the plant instead of a bouquet. When the music started, he mouthed, You're late. She mouthed back, You're lucky I showed up. You look like trouble, he murmured when she reached him. Good. You deserve it. The officiant smiled. Do you have vows? Noah nodded. Lila Bennett, Hale, my fake wife turned real one. You drive me crazy. Steal my covers and make me better for it. I promise to keep annoying you until you throw a slipper at me. She laughed through tears. You'll probably deserve it. I didn't plan vows, she said. Everything I wrote sounded like something you'd mock. I'd never. Yes, you would, she cut in, smiling. So here's mine. I'll never fake anything with you again. Not a smile, not a kiss, especially not an argument. Positive, he teased. Positive. Also, I'm keeping Jeffrey. No way. Joint custody. By the power vested in me, the officiant said. I now pronounce you still married. Cheers erupted as Noah kissed her, soft, certain, and real this time. Grandpa George yelled, About time. When they broke apart, Noah whispered, You realize you chased me through an airport for this. Worth it, she said, grinning. Good, he murmured, because the honeymoon's non-refundable. Where? London. She groaned. You're unbelievable. He smiled. Unbelievably yours. 1 year later, Alderidge, Saturday morning. Sunlight poured through the kitchen windows as the smell of smoke filled the air. Noah! Lila shouted from the hallway. Is that the fire alarm again? He coughed, waving a towel at the toaster. I swear, the recipe said lightly brown. She stepped into the kitchen wearing his hoodie and an unimpressed look. You've managed to burn croissants. They come pre-cooked. He pointed defensively at the toaster. Then it's defective. We should return it. You said that about the blender, the rice cooker, and the alarm clock, he finished, grinning. Okay, maybe I just like seeing you roll your eyes. She snorted, rescuing the least burned croissant. You're lucky you're cute. Finally, recognition. He wrapped his arms around her waist from behind. You know, this is how most great romances start. We've been married a year, Hale. Exactly. Still feels like the start.